Needless to tell you, we've been having such great weather the last couple of days, although it's been a bit cold, and today it is absolutely pouring with rain. But we got things to do today. I have some good news about the home that we've applied for, and I'm on my way to pick up Lindy now, because for those of you that don't know, Lindy suffers with endometriosis, and just before we came to America, she had an operation to remove all the endometriosis. It was a little bit more severe than what we thought about, or what we thought it was. And the doctor went in and cleaned it all out and gave her the good bill of health and everything like that. But it's time to go and get a checkup, so I'm on my way to go pick up Lindy. We're going to go and find a new specialist here in Chattanooga. We're going to go and see what the doctor has to say just for a checkup. And then I'll tell you guys about the house. I'm supposed to be at Lindy in 4 minutes. I'm probably about 10 minutes away because of this traffic from the rain. It sucks, man, and these trucks just come flying past. This truck over here actually cut me off earlier. Can I travel back in time just 5 minutes so I can get to Lindy on time? There's just something about a nice clean rig. I spent about an hour and a half on it yesterday, giving it a good old clean, and already the pollen is all over it. So from the rain 2 days ago to yesterday and today, we're now sitting at degrees of between 70 and 80 as a high. So it's a beautiful day. It's a little overcast in terms of the clouds, but that's all set to clear out. So the good news is that we got the house. No, we didn't buy a house. We were trying really hard, but the rental that we wanted, it's come through. So we are moving within the next 2 to 3 weeks, which I'm excited for. Lindy and I were chatting about it last night, and you know, it's a new adventure, it's a new step, it's where we want to be. I'm super excited about the garage, super excited about even the house in general. It's got carpets at the moment, which is not something that Lindy nor I particularly like, and they're kind of like a brown maroonish type color, and I believe the house was built in the 90s, the early 90s, so they're probably the original carpets from then. But I've had a chat with the owner, and he's pretty keen on engaging in me doing some upgrades to the home, with him paying for the materials and all of that. So once we have more information about that, we will share it, but we are super excited about that. But for today, I can't even get my words out of. We're going 4x4 tomorrow, and I'm really looking forward to that. Matt, the friend that helped me put the suspension in on the GX, they all out camping, and Lindy's been working some raging hours in this last week, so we're not going to be able to join them for camping. But what we are doing is we're meeting up with them tomorrow, and we are going to go and do some 4x4 with them. My rig is not ready for the trails that we're going on, apparently. I don't have skids, I don't have sliders. Would love some, so you know, if somebody has some contacts or leads and wants to you know, work on a deal, you know, wink wink, if I can wink with like a delinquent. But apparently to get down to base camp, we need to deflate tires and all of that type of thing. So I'm on my way shopping today. I'm going to go and look for an air compressor and a couple of odds and other ends that I need for the 4x4 trip, as well as I've got to do some cutting and snipping on the GX, which I'm super excited about. It has been ages since I was able to use an angle grinder or a saw, anything like that, to be able to cut stuff up, and I'm going to get to do that today. So yeah, we are off to Harbour Freight. Yeah, Harbour Freight, good old Harbour Freight. You know, buy what you need, knowing you're going to have to buy it again twice. And for those of you that missed the other video, one of the reasons why I'm so excited about this house is it's 800 and something square feet, which is at least 100 square feet bigger than we are now. It's got 2 bedrooms, which means now we can have our friends from out of town, our family from out of country. They can come and spend some time with us whenever they want to. But the best part, at least for me, is that the whole house is built on top of a garage. I mean, it is a garage, it could be a basement, one of the two. But I'm super excited about that because I'm going to have somewhere to work on my cars. I'm going to have somewhere to build stuff. I'm going to be able to probably build a little podcast studio in one of the corners. So I'm really super excited about that. But right now I'm more super excited about getting some dirt on the tires tomorrow and some mud all over my car, because apparently it has been raining cats and dogs out at this place where they are camping. So I'd say it was a pretty successful shopping trip. Managed to pick up our air compressor from Harbour Freight. A lot of mixed reviews online about it. I just wanted a cheap one just to get me through for now, so we'll see how long this one lasts. Managed to get some battery tie downs, tire pressure gauge, and a hitch pin. Just, it's one of those scenarios where I say, do what I say and not what I do. So I don't have any recovery gear, no recovery points in the back. So all I'm simply going to do is put this in here for now. And I'm not doing any serious 4x4 in tomorrow. I'm just going down a trail to get to camp. And if I need a little tug or whatever the case is, we'll use this, put the recovery strap through here, mount it in. And like I say, you never want to do a proper recovery, you know, hard tug or anything off these pins. And yeah, you can rag me in the comments if you don't agree, and whatever the case is. I've been there, done that. Not something I want to do, but I'm going to go ahead with that. Found this pretty cool little thing. So this is the battery tie down, because I figured out and found out that when I bought my GX, the battery was just floating. So this thing over here just is able to give me a tie down and stick it in with that, because the last thing I need tomorrow is going down a dirt road and the battery bumps around, either disconnects the cable, breaks the cable, or I've seen them actually break the radiator because it bounces across and breaks the radiator. So let's get this stuff installed and then the chopping can begin. Yeah, this is a pretty cool little setup. So I suppose we just got to measure it down right, and this may cause a problem for me, but that clips in there. Maybe go a little bit smaller. Oh, that's pretty perfect. And then these generic parts will just slide on down into here. At least that's the plan. These little washers are supposed to go inside there, but once they go in there, then it doesn't line up. So I'm either going to try and cut these with a plastic knife, or I'm going to whip up my new angle grinder and give it a shave. Well, turns out my quick fix isn't as quick fix as I thought it would be. The other shank, this one here, if it goes in at the bottom there, it's way too short. So I'm going to have to drop down to O'Reilly's again to go and pick up longer ones, and then added to that complexity, when you throw this on, I think I'm going to have to cut a little bit out here. But anyway, you know, you've got to do what you got to do. And it's nothing like leaving it till the very last minute when you're going out on an adventure and you've got to get these things sorted out, because this is what I was talking about. If the battery wobbles enough, it could knock up against here and crack this. I've seen it happen on the GXs before, on the forums and everything like that, so that's unfortunately not an option. Next up is the hitch pin, and like I said, this is one of those scenarios where put a rope through, stick it through the hole, and then you'll be able to tug. And again, putting this out there as a disclaimer, don't do full-blown recoveries off this thing. I've seen these pins bend on the inside, which then you can't get them out, but also they are not rated for recoveries. Yes, they are puller static or whatever you want to call it, weight on a trailer, but don't do what I'm doing. Alright, that was simple enough. That's in. We're going to need that for when we move in a couple of weeks time, because we're going to get a trailer. And this was the cheapest, nastiest little pressure gauge that I could find, and I've already tested, and all the wheels except the front passenger are all 40, except that one's a 35 psi, so I'm going to pump that one up a little bit. It's good reason to unbox this and test that. And I think this is magnetic. Maybe not. Also, one of the beautiful problems I'm having is, listen, I don't know if you can hear that. Yep, my door sings to me every single time we open it. So I've got some of this anti-seize lubricant, put a little bit on here, get it all nice and slippery, and hopefully the dirt and gunk doesn't catch on that, and we do away with the noise. What I will just have to do is keep an eye on it, just to make sure that it doesn't collect dirt and becomes a grinding paste. This thing is pretty small. This is definitely not what I was expecting. It's way smaller, and I hope it's up to the task. Otherwise, I'm afraid you and I are going to have a bit of a conversation. This is one of the bigger ones, and it's rated at 150 psi, and I had no clue that it was this small when I bought it. I don't think this and me are going to have a long relationship at all. It's a constant battle here with buying tools and things like that, because back home when I was working I would go and buy what I needed, and yeah, price obviously an issue, but you make sure that you buy once, cry once. And here I've got to be a little bit more money savvy. I would never have bought this in South Africa. She still makes me smile just the way that she did the first time I cut it. I guess at the end of the day you get what you pay for. Look, it's not a bad compressor, but certainly not up to the tasks that I think I'm going to need it, especially with these big tires. Whoa! There are so many of these like carpenter beetles flying around here. It's like kamikaze pilots. Would you be so kind as to hold that for me?
Designated camera lady.
No, partner in crime.
Partner in crime. We haven't done this thing for you.
But did you hear that?
No, I did. Yes, I did.
You did or didn't?
I did.
What did you hear?
Nothing.
Exactly. I fixed it. So we're all packed up. We are ready to rock and roll. Got everything sorted out. Battery tie down is done. There was a massive storm that came in last night. It woke me up at like 3 o'clock this morning. There was hail, lightning non-stop for like 20 minutes. I've never seen so much in my life. It blew the power lines. There must have been a power line down somewhere because electricity clicked on and off like 3 or 4 times, and eventually it went off permanently for about 5 minutes. But we are on our way. Everything is ready to rock and roll. We got about an hour's drive ahead of us to go 4x4 in, and I'm super stoked. So if you want to...
When last have you been 4x4?
I said earlier on in the video, I think it was probably 12 to 18 months ago that I went and did proper 4x4 in, like air down tires and go and do some trails and some obstacles. So super excited about that. If you want to see that, make sure that you subscribe, hit that notification bell, because that video will come up shortly after this one. So,
and remember to share this one with your other.
Yep. And leave us some love in the comments below. We'll see you on the flip side.
This is what we do while we wait. We eat. Well, I eat. I'm always hungry. And Richard failed. He put the mayo between the cheese and the bread.
I told her to make them herself. So just be grateful.
You always put the mayo between the ham and the cheese, and not the cheese and the bread, because the mayo soaks into the bread. Fail.